Hello everyone and welcome to our Starcraft 2 replay. This one's going to take place on, looks like Belshire Vestige. I'm the red Terran Ketroc, spawning in the top left-hand position. In the bottom right is the blue opponent DS Rush. Now this is from my WCS Qualifiers. In the first round I played a top 8 Masters and I curb stomped him with my 1 base 2 racks play. This is going to be the next round versus another HotS opponent, and things are going to go very differently. This is a Master League Korean player. I'm not quite sure how high he masters, but he ended up winning this WCS qualifier, so it seems to be pretty darn good. I accidentally pressed join instead of create when I was making this game, so we instantly came into the game before the chat, just making sure he's okay. Now we're jumping into the game, so I guess I'll go a little bit over his view because both these games he's going to open starport versus me, and both these games are going to be quite one-sided, not in my favor. So I just kind of want to see what he did and if there's any adjustments I can make. So putting almost all his chrono into probes, which I think should almost always be the case for Protoss in early game, unless there's some specific timing really fast that they have to hit. I mean, it's just so good putting getting extra probes out really early in the game. I mean, if one person has 11 harvesters and the other one has 10, that's like a 10% increase in income. That's pretty huge. You know, or if one person has 72 and the other one has 71, that's not much of a difference. But at this point in the game, it's huge. So right after Gateway, he's going Cybercore and he's skipping the Zealot. Taking a second gas, not too long afterwards. I'm doing my typical 2-racks play. I don't think I make any major mistakes this game, so this is a pretty good indicator of how my 2-racks would work against this. Third pylon, if I were to scout, I would know at this point there's nothing proxied probably happening. So scout usually arrives around this time, and you can get a, seeing the third pylon's a pretty good indicator that there's not a third pylon out in the map somewhere. As soon as the Cybercore finishes, we got a Stalker on the way, and a Mothership Core, and he's putting a little bit of chrono boost into each of them. There we go. It's a little bit vulnerable if you're doing like an eBay block or something like that and expanding yourself by skipping that Zealot, but pretty safe versus everything else. And sending them both across the field immediately, so going to do a little bit of scouting, maybe get some harass done. And at this point, I believe he goes straight into starport, if I remember correctly. Chrono boosting out a few more probes. Harvester count is 22 over 19. That's the advantage of chrono boost. Obviously, I get the advantage of mules. And there's a Stargate. Even putting it on the edge of his base, so it's as close to my base as possible, but not close to the low ground where it can get sniped from the low ground. So normally this first Stalker will walk to his death because I'll concussive shell done in about a second. But instead he uses the Mothership Core, which gets him a little bit of information. And now I'm going to be doing my typical 2 Marauder push. And coming in to get a little more scouting done with that Mothership Core. So he's got a good idea of what's going on. He sees the 2 barracks, he sees the add-ons, and he heads home. So all the information he needs. Not sure what happened to these 2 Marines. Okay, they're finally coming. So cutting across the map, looks like a second gateway coming down. And he's probably looking to expand soon. Although maybe not. He does see it oncoming. So as soon as I see no Expo, I like to throw down Inge Bay. Which I believe I do. Because no Expo could mean DT rush, it could mean Stargate play. Popping up the ramp to see what's up here, and he catches that 1 Marine, kills it. Not a huge loss, but it's something. And actually opening Void Ray with a Stargate. Putting up my reinforcements. And I'm going to try to engage. So at this point it doesn't look that terrible for me. We lost 1 Marine, so we only have 7 Marines left. That's easily enough to kill a Void Ray, and probably the Mothership Core too. Kind of pulling the Stalkers back, but I think this is just going to be very well microed by my opponent and not so much by me. Let's watch this on normal speed. There's the attack. My Marauders aren't actually doing anything yet. Gotta get them into the battle. Pulls back the Void Ray with lots of hit points. Looks like I have those Marines on follow, so the Marines are actually doing any DPS. There we go, finally. Pulling back another Hurt Stalker. You pull back this Hurt Stalker when I ran out of shields. So that Marauder's trying to shoot the Stalkers, not allowing him to. This Marine's trying to shoot that Void Ray, not allowing him to. Units lost tab is 1,000 versus 50. That engage is quite good. And now an Oracle out on the field. So I'm trying to head back home. Marauder does not have stim yet, so he's going to get picked off. I should probably actually attack and see if I can get a little bit of hull damage done to one of these Stalkers. But at the same time, just desperately trying to get a bunker up. Even though he's expanding, I'm on the defensive while I one base, which is never a spot you want to be in. Yeah. Cancels the bunker, kills all my Marines, and now this push is going to have an easy time. Two more Marines popping out, bunker's done. And now it's about as one side of his game as you can see. So I guess we'll jump back to that fight once again. What was it, around 6:30 maybe? In fact, before we get to 6:30, I just want to see what his gateways are doing during that time, and the Stargate for that matter. So there's the first Stalker, building a second Stalker immediately afterwards. There's the Stargate. Another. He gets a sentry when he gets the scout on my base and seeing his 2 racks, so that's smart. Pulling his Stalkers back, not losing anything. And then Warp Gate tech is done. So he's going to be able to warp in 2 more units. Another gateway on the way. So there's the warp in, a Zealot, and a Stalker. So he's going to have 3 Stalkers, a Zealot, a Sentry, Mothership Core, and a Void Ray. Army tab right now is just a touch in my favor, but you know, a lot of my army is still crossing the map, so that doesn't really even count. Oops, looks like these are idle for a moment. I like how he didn't use a prismatic alignment. A lot of people just do that out of habit whenever they engage. But at this point, she's wanting to kill the Marines, which the alignment doesn't do anything against. And if all the Marines go down, then it's actually a good time to use the alignment, because then you kill the Marauders, get that extra plus armor damage. So this ended up being really engaging for him. He took all that damage and didn't die. Time Warp in combination with Unit Micro is so good because you can't really do much inside the Time Warp. And if you try to, like I did, you just end up having Marines running really, really slowly, not doing anything. I did force the Void Ray out of the battle, but it's probably going to be able to return here. Now push the Stalker out of the battle. You can see it, and just getting dusted. You had 1 Stalker lose all its shields, but no hull damage. And then you had a Stalker, a Void Ray, and a Zealot go down to 16 hit points, 4 hit points, and 4 hit points. I wonder if I could have kited backwards out of this bubble. So at this point here, I suppose I could start stutter stepping back. It takes so long to get out of a vortex though. And you still want to be stutter stepping to get the damage done. It didn't look like a scary army, so that's really good micro. Anyways, with that we'll call it the end of this game. Actually, not this video. We'll hop into the next game I played versus him, in which, if I remember correctly, it was a couple weeks ago I played this game. But I think it was more of a Like where this game was just, it was a solid win because of that, just that engagement was microed so perfectly. This one might have been more about his like Stargate build just crushing me. So I've lost to Stargate builds a few times. I think like I need more Marines than just one reactor barracks can provide. So I'm thinking of adding a third barracks, and I think I'll do that from now on and see how it works out. And I also believe I can delay my tech a bit, because just going mass bio is probably okay versus Stargate play, because I don't have to worry about quick storm or quick colossi. Alright, so bring the production tab and we'll see what he's doing. I'm going to assume it's the same build, worked well for him first game. He's going to scout the same thing this game. Maybe I'll correct some of my mistakes from last game, like taking an engagement where I just die. I'll probably not want to hang around once I see no. For the second guy, there's the Mothership Core and the Stalker. Okay. Second Stalker, and then I think some idle time, and then the Stargate. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So let's see what happened up here. Back up a touch. Looks like I was just scouting for the proxy Stargate, like I do every game. I'm not sure what's going to happen to this Marine. Stalker pokes up on its own. I don't have Concussive Shell yet, and I'm not microing it, unfortunately. Concussive Shell just finishing now. And looks like my production isn't perfect this game. Second set of Marines are a little bit late. But pushing across the map, a little bit late, but it's still coming. This is mostly to put pressure on an expansion though, so if there's no expansion, it doesn't really matter that this push came late, unless they all get caught and die or something like that, like last game. Mothership Core is heading home. He got a view of my composition, so I'm pretty sure he knows I have the same setup with the tech lab and reactor barracks. So I'm going to arrive, see if there's no expansion. Throw down my Inge Bay, check the top of the ramp. And this time we're getting the hell out of here because it didn't work out so well last time for me. Stim is kind of late. There's Inge Bay, very late on the Inge Bay. And that's unfortunate because now there's an Oracle coming across the map. And he went Oracle before Stalker this time, or Oracle before Void Ray. And he intercepts all my Marines heading home. Oh, just gets away with a few hit points. Second Oracle. Getting one missile turret in my mineral line. I think at this point, I'm going to start doing 2 missile turrets in my mineral line. For a long time, Protoss players didn't understand the fact that you can just like sit here on hold position and kill a whole bunch of SCVs, or sit here on hold position. But I do know that he's expanded, so we're going to do a push with Stim. And he's going to micro this train all the way there. So I think I pulled about 9 SCVs. Let's see how many I actually arrive by the time I get there. He does have enough for 2 overcharges, and this Nexus is going to finish in time. And 1 SCV arrived out of all those, which is really bad. So there's the overcharge. I'm going to have to fall back. And I decided to engage, but he's got 3 Oracles, and I don't have that many Marines. And that's just going to be the end of that. So just making my build look completely terrible. They actually got a kill, look at that. Sending my Marines get back home. The Marines are still slower than Oracles though, it looks like. Pretty similar. 3.62 against 3.38. I guess they are faster. But again, it's an expansion with 15 harvester lead, so it's not just like an expansion doesn't mean anything. This is an expansion with a lot of workers to cover it. And just with 3 oracles, there's no way my Marines are enough to cut through that. Anytime there's oracles in a composition and you're going bio, you want to focus down the oracles, but in this case it was just too one-sided. So this is how I got curb stomped twice in a row by a Korean. So stutter stepping that oracle all the way across the map and killing off 9 SCVs, all while not failing a touch on his macro, was pretty impressive. Doesn't look like I did my build as perfectly as I could have this game. There should have been 7 Marines here, but those 2 Marines are pretty late. I mean, I see a low unit count, but some gas has been spent. Looks kind of similar to Stargate play. I guess if you suspect Stargate play, maybe you should tap the ramp with your Marauder. Rather than losing a Marine, it's probably better to lose 2/3 of the health on a Marauder. He's going to catch my retreat. Which probably means this kind of, my late push probably kind of cost me those units. Or didn't have to. Can't catch up with this thing. So it got 5 kills, that's pretty good. And it did some damage to my Marauders as well. And I like to pull my SCVs after my army train, just because the SCV train can move faster and catch up. But in this case, they're just kind of stranded off on their own. And this Oracle is going to get 7, 8 kills, 9 kills. And he still hasn't really lost anything. He just lost tab. So ridiculous. Like, even the games I lose against Protoss, I'm always ahead in the use lost tab. It's just that he has an expansion and I don't. So I went from down 800 to down, 1300 or so. And now everything with the oracles from behind. Just look at that little touch that he did there. It's kind of neat. Like, if these guys are on A move right now. Yeah, that was... just the little things, but like how many times do you see like Zealots get caught in the back or Oracles get picked off? Look at the way he sets up this attack. Zealots out front, Stalker behind because Stalker's faster and you want it to end up behind these Zealots, and then Void the Oracle's way behind because the Oracles are really fast and you don't want the Oracles to be the first thing to arrive. And then from this position, he just A moves. And as soon as those Oracles arrive, activate. Zealots first, then Stalkers, then Oracles. And that was the end of my WCS run. From feeling really confident after my first series to getting slaughtered about as badly as you possibly could in the second series. And then this DS Rush guy went on to win the qualifier, so I guess he's in the Challenger League, I guess. Is that what they call it? I don't know. This was the qualifier for like the code B or whatever it is, or code A. It wasn't the challenger to get into the Premier League. But with that, thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll call it the end of this video. Yeah, check the description for a thumbs up link, and goodbye.